all fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start with the tune reggae music, because you're basically giving a history lesson about
Yeah,
your life
and
and the genre and everything.
Trying to tell the whole story of reggae in about 4 minutes.
Right. Little daunting.
Yeah.
But you pull it off well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I thought that story was needed to be told, and how the song came about was, you know, we were bumping off ideas, Tim Armstrong and myself, off each other, and you know, he came up with the idea and said, "Well, you know what? I'm making a song about this." And I said, "Wow, it's an interesting idea." And then, you know, I came up with a melody, and I started writing some lyrics, and it came. So it was not a difficult story to be told.
No, well, it's your own story.
Yes, exactly.
So you mentioned Tim there. So how did that start? Because it's a very interesting pairing, and I'm sure you get that question all the time.
Yeah, well, you know, when I knew I had to make this album, a few names came up in terms of producer.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew about Tim Armstrong via Joe Strummer of The Clash. And I thought, wow,
Joe was a fan, or Joe was a friend, or
both.
Okay.
You know, because on my last album, we did this one song. The last song he recorded in the studio was the last song that he recorded in the studio was a song that we did together on my last album. A song called.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
Well, accomplishment, not
but
yeah.
I'm glad that you know, I had that opportunity to close one chapter with him. You know, so he kind of really introduced me to Rancid and their music, and then since the opportunity came, I said, "Wow, let's." And I spoke to Tim on the phone, and it kind of happened from there. He sounds so good, sincere, honest person, and when I got into the studio with him, you know, it was the same vibes or even better. You know, when you meet someone in person and talking is a different thing. So we just kind of snowballed from there, because we weren't setting out to do a whole album. We were just going to make like an EP.
But you did, right?
Yes, right. But everything felt so good and went so well. So let's do the album, you know, and it went straight ahead, and I'm very happy with that.
What kind of collaboration is he? Because I mean, obviously he writes one of the songs. Ruby Soho's his own, right? So is he writing with you? Is he sitting behind the board doing stuff? Is he playing bass, or what's he up to?
Well, some of the songs I already had, and he liked some of them, like One More or Rebel Rebel. Some of the songs I already had. So we needed some more songs, of course. So we started bouncing off ideas of each other, just like the song Reggae Music is one of the songs that came during the session, because we know we needed more songs, and a few other songs came just like that. So the reason for recording like Ruby Soho and Guns of Brixton, which were two cover versions, is to say, well, on both sides of the Atlantic, reggae music has been influential and inspirational to punk music. So why not record one from that side of the Atlantic and one from this side to to make it rounded?
Sure.
So that's how we kind of did.
Well, it almost rounds out your life, because Guns N' Brixton talks about the harder they come.
Exactly.
Like there's a whole verse about Ivan. That's amazing.
Exactly, that's right.
So do you remember the first time you heard that tune? I guess in the 70s. What did
in
it
the
been?
70s. In the 70s. In the 70s, and that was the time when, you know, the Clash and I used to pass each other on maybe at the airport or on the bus or somewhere going to gigs, you know. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, we're going. I'm going here. You're going there. So at that time, I came familiar with that song. Yeah.
Crazy. Back to reggae music, the song, because I'm not a reggae purist.
Okay.
I'm sitting beside you. I'm going to ask you these questions as a reggae historian here.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of political talk on the record. There's a lot of happy talk on the record. There's love songs. There's a little bit of everything. So did reggae music come from political uprising, or did the political uprising happen and then the music kind of just?
The statement that we really wanted to make with reggae music is that it has always been a music that expresses the social political situation of the people globally. That is really the motivation for writing that song. And then we showed from where it began, the social political consciousness and how it began. And that's really what we really wanted to express on that song.
Well, I mean, the genre in general Because I mean, you were there at the beginning
Yes.
of it, essentially, right?
Yes. So, well, you know, from the ska that we mentioned in the first verse of the song, from the ska to the rock steady, to how it became reggae, and the vehicles that took them, you know, like The Harder They Come, which introduced it to the world, and all of that. And that's kind of the story that we really wanted to tell in that song.
Cool. World Upside Down
World Upside Down.
is one of those songs that, you know, that's talking about a lot of shit that's going on right now, right?
Yeah,
So
no doubt, no doubt.
was that a hard song to write, or did it come easily?
Come easily.
Yeah.
It came easily because for me to comment on social and political situations is a natural thing. And having seen what is going on in the world, it was just a natural for me to highlight it, because so many people have it on their lips, in their hearts, and want to hear it expressed. And so I am that vehicle to express those things. Most artists today don't do that anymore like it used to be done in the 70s. And I do think it is still important to express those kind of things, especially in this time. You know, we're into a new age. When I say we're coming into it, it means it hasn't finally clicked in until later on in this year. You know, because I believe in the history of the Mayans.
Oh, you're into that? Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen. It's interesting.
Yeah. But I don't see anything negative. I just see it as something that happens every 2,300 years, when the time goes into a different constellation.
Sure.
So now we're in the constellation of Pisces. We're coming out. When it clicks in December into the constellation of Aquarius, it's a different energy. It's a different time, and humanity will rise higher. So we're seeing what we're observing now is a lot of the things dying. You know, the economic system, political system, ecological things
sure.
that we've never seen. All of these things are going on. That's why, because we're coming into a new time. So when something has to be reborn, to come new, a lot of stuff has to die.
Is that why you called the record Rebirth?
Rebirth? Yeah.
That was a very good fitting. I don't even need to write that. That's perfect.
Yes.
What else do I want to talk about? Recording live off the floor. That's how I like to make music. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing. So you must have not done that in a while,
I've
right?
done that in a long while, and so it was great fun to do that again, because, you know, to six people sitting in a room together and vibing off each other, that's the real music there for me. I respect, and I still will sit around with one guy playing a keyboard and playing all the instruments. Still fun doing that too, but it's greater fun. I like to feed off different people in the room, and that's what we did.
Were there any songs that you probably start off with just you and a guitar, I would think, right? Probably writing at home
Yes.
or something, and then you bring it to the group, and things change. So what song really, when everyone started playing it, you were like, oh, that's how it should sound, that's perfect.
For instance, this song called Bang. We had finished quite a few songs, and the day I was leaving the studio to go back to the hotel in California, I said, look, I have an idea for a song. It's called Bang. And they said, wow, so you want to leave with a bang?
Yeah.
I said, okay, yeah. And the next morning I just came in and, played the chords, and I didn't even have all the words together. I have a few of the words and the melody going, and they just chipped in. Tim took up his guitar and go like that, the bass player, the drummer, and said, and it all just fell into place like that.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the singing booth, and suddenly the words start flowing, and they kicked it off, boom, and it went like that. So that was one of them that came in the studio. Like
That's
that,
amazing.
Yeah, and it's great when you sit back and you listen, wow, spontaneity is such a great thing when it happens like that,
No, you never expect it, right?
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Exactly.
I read something about you saying you like acting more than music, but I haven't seen you in a movie in like 20 years.
Well,
Why aren't you doing it?
It's more difficult to get the movies done, as you know. it costs more money.
Sure.
And more time, a lot more things are involved in that. So, and also, you know, I don't want to make just any kind of movie. I would like to make a movie that I can look back on years from now. Like The Harder They Come, I can still look back and still feel proud of it. So looking around for the right script. Sometimes the right script doesn't come, so you have to write it yourself. So I have a few scripts on the table at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, like there are 3 scripts, including a sequel to The Harder They Come.
Right. So that is in the works. So tell me about that.
That's still in the works.
What do you want to see out of that? Like, what would you hope if you had your say writing or whatever?
Well, you know, the reason for the impact that The Harder They Come has made was because it captured a time. The character that I played could be found anywhere in the world, coming from the country, coming to the city, want to make it, and got involved and took the wrong path. So we capture the time, a revolutionary mind or a rebellious mind, that what caused you to rebel. And so we captured that time. So there's still that kind of situation going on today. And I would like to capture that feeling of what's going on today with the youth mind. And I would then play a character that had seen it before and trying to be a guide. And that would conflict with this young character saying, you know, your days is gone. This is a new day. This is my day. And then that's where the conflict comes in. How we finally see eye to eye to go on one path.
That's cool. Did you write the music for the film, or did the film inspire the music?
The film did inspire the music. I only wrote one song for it.
Oh, it's only the title?
The Harder They Come, the title song. That's
there you go. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of names for you I wanted to throw out, and just give me like your first thoughts or first things that come to your mind.
Okay.
We'll start with Joe Strummer.
Joe Strummer, brilliant mind, very creative, and a good soul.
Cool. Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, great artist, brilliant poet, incredible sense of rhythm.
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke, one of the best voices ever.
For sure. Paul Simon.
Paul Simon.
You played with him recently, right?
Yeah.
Did I see something? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. One of the greatest poets, one of the greatest songwriters, and knowing him now, a great person.
Nice. And one of your fans, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, of course, one of the greatest poets, and the voice of a generation, the voice of a complete generation.
See, and he thinks you're the voice of the generation. That's amazing.
And I've not had the opportunity to meet him, but what he's done is will go on in the annals of time forever.
It's really all you can hope for, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we do something called 5 questions before I let you go. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Yeah.
Lennon or McCartney?
That's a difficult one.
I know.
That's a difficult
Sorry.
one. However, I probably would go with Lennon for the fact that I think he's a bit expresses revolutionary feelings more
Sure.
than McCartney. But this other side of McCartney, which he expresses relationships so well. But then again, Lennon does it too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difficult one.
Sure. Road or studio?
You know, I love them both again, but I would have to give just a little notch more to the studio.
Yeah? Like creating?
Yeah, because that's what lives on forever, you know. You come to a concert and you see a great concert and wow, thank you. And that concert may live with you for the rest of your life. But a great recording, you can put it on and on and on and on again and go on. So I give it just like a percentage more.
Cool. When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
It kind of depends on the song. Depends on the song because, for instance, let's take a song like Bridge Over Troubled Waters. I was in South America, I was in Argentina, and I first heard that song. And the first note, ding, 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 the piano thing. right away it grabbed me, you know. But you know, maybe another song like Moby Graham, "Give me the beat, boy, to free my soul." That's the feeling of that song that grabs me, the feeling, and then the words. You know, I've been there, so I know that song. It's difficult again. You ask some difficult questions.
I ask them to everybody though, and because I get weird answers from people.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Song you've written you're most proud of.
Well, my songs are like a woman giving birth, and you know, your first child or her first child, she loved the first child. Then the second one comes along, oh, she has to give attention to that one, and then the next one, and so on. So right now I would have to give attention to, there's a song I have on this Rebirth album called Cry No More, which is kind of a lullaby for family, love, you know, situation. I have not expressed in that way in all my writing. It's the first time I'm expressing that kind of relationship, family, and that. So that would be the one right now.
Is it because you're there now in your life?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
In one word, Jimmy Cliff.
Brilliant.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated. That was awesome.
Thank you.